Okay, so I'm going to show you how to give your man some feet and also how to give him his arms so he pretty much has a whole body then. Wow. Alright, so I've already attached one foot to my man. One foot, not perfect yet, but probably won't do much else to it because it gives you the pretty good idea of what it is. Alright, so that's one foot. How I did that was I got a smallish size piece of plasticine or clay, whatever you're using. This one I just stretched into a sort of ovalish shape, I guess. Something like that. I flattened at the top where his toes are going to be. Squished it a bit square. Tried to give it a bit more shape. And then I'm just going to attach that to the bottom of my guy. I might attach a little bit more clay because it's pretty flat, so you might want to use a bit thicker piece than what I just used then. So, touch it. Again, squish it in, use your water, make it smooth. Squish in all lines so when it does go into the kiln, it won't break. You want to have your whole man. So now he has 2 feet and he is sitting. Yeah, a bit uneven. You can fix that up later. So, there's my man so far. And arms. So, in his sculpture, Mueck has actually created his man. Sitting down, he doesn't look too happy. He looks a bit bored, a bit despondent. So, he's actually leaning on his arm. This is probably a bit difficult for primary school year levels. So, what I would suggest to do with them is just to create arms. So, just create arms. You don't have to have them fold or anything a bit too hard, but if they want to give it a shot, why not? So, one cylinder shaped arm. I thinned it at the end to make wrist, a bit thicker at the top, so I can blend that in as his shoulders, to his shoulders, so it doesn't look too uneven. This is just my old example guy, so giving him arms, and I'm going to blend them in. His arms are probably a bit too big for him, but blend it in. Maybe you could bend it, so something like that, and turn the ends into hands, which is pretty easy. Just make a little circle at the end for a hand. Alright, and that's how to that's probably the best direction to give to your students rather than trying to get them his arms folded and everything. But if you want to follow what I've done to make your big man, then I did the same thing. Cylinder, squish towards the end to make his wrist. This arm is going to be, this arm's going to be the one that he is leaning on. So, for this one, you have to have a bend in it where he's got his elbow, so you have to have a bit longer piece of this one. I've attached it there. Touched it, and I've just pretty much bent it up. Maybe lift his head up a little bit, make him lean on it. Turn his head so he looks like he's leaning. That's his arm. Blend again. That's him leaning on his arm. Next arm is actually folded, and he's got his hand scrunched to his elbow of the first arm. So short a bit. Skinny at the end for his wrist, or what I would advise you to do is actually do the hand first for this one, so you have the wrist and make a move hand because it'll be a bit difficult once it's actually stuck on to create the hands. So probably give it a little bit more, because he's got his hand balled into a fist, so yeah, try and make it as fist-like as possible. Alright, going to touch this. Attached to his shoulder. So, I've attached, I've squished in, something like that, going to make it a bit more smoother, but you get the idea. So that is my man. He's sitting, he's got legs, he's got feet, he's got arms, a head, and I've also made him bent over because he's hunched. great piece of work to copy, lots of fun. Really love this one. I chose it because I actually like the story to go with it. One of Mueck's, as I said before, first sculpture based on a real life model. So he doesn't usually use real life models because he finds something intimidating with it in the room with him. But this, he was looking for a particular man, like largest man. He found a good model, so he decided to use him. But he wasn't happy with the poses that the life model was striking. He said they were very cliche, something not different, and he said he's trying to make up his mind whether to keep the model or get him to just leave and he'll do his own piece. When he looked over at the model who was waiting for him to make up his mind, and the model was sitting there, not as angry as the actual big man, but he was a bit bored, just waiting for Mueck to make up his mind, and that's where the inspiration for Big Man came from. It was actually originally a lot smaller piece, but Mueck started to create, and then he took a photo of it to get a different perception. So when you take a photo, you can't actually tell the size of the sculpture because he hadn't had anything up next to it. So he took the photo, and he realised when it filled out the frame that it actually would look a lot more overwhelming and intense if it was like a lot larger. So that's how he became to be 7 feet. I'm just going to do a few details and I shall show you my end result soon. Thank you.